Right, hello there everybody, my name is Adam Clery. Welcome to the Adam Clery Football Channel, and it's the transfer video you've all been waiting for. João Maria Lobo Alves Paredes Costa Palhinha Gonzalez to Tottenham. Why was he so good at Fulham? Why did it not even slightly work at Bayern Munich? And what exactly does Thomas Frank want with him? It's video time. Need a better catchphrase. Right, so João Palhinha, at one point easily the best pure defensive midfielder in the Premier League, but has just limped through 12 months at Bayern Munich, where by the end he was getting so little pitch time he probably wouldn't have even bothered washing his socks. Like, what are those last ones? 5 minutes? 7 minutes? I wouldn't give a shit, mate. I'd have them straight back in the drawer. But that being said, let us not forget, my friends, if we row this all the way back up the River Thames to Craven Cottage, this man was absolutely imperious. He was literally leading the Premier League for tackles across 2 entire thirds of the pitch and hardly disgracing himself at the top end as well. Nobody was taking the ball off dribblers more successfully or more frequently than he was. He was making clearances, he was making blocks, and there's your stat. No man in the Premier League had more combined tackles and interceptions, and this is literally just 12 months ago. But why is that so good? Well, as I said before, he was pretty much the last pure lone number 6 in football, which basically meant he was doing all of the dirty work in front of the back four. And that meant that at Fulham, you could have both Tom Cairney and Anders Pereira pretty much in the same team. You relieve the other pivot of all of their defensive responsibility, and all of a sudden this 2 here morphs very easily into this 2 here. And that is risky. It can leave you absolutely wide open on transition, but for Fulham that season, it was absolutely worth it. They were actually loads of fun to watch, because if you look back at most of the goals they got that season from quick, direct attacks and turnovers, you will see them just throwing players forward, safe in the knowledge that Palhinha would be behind them to protect this central space. They just leave these enormous gaps between the defenders and the attack, and both midfielders, they could go, Anthony Robinson, he could go, and that's all down to the trust they would have in a lone number 6. Most teams can't do that. Basically, it's just having the mindset of, oh, well, if we all go forward and this goes tits up and us 5 or us 6 end up giving it away, doesn't matter, because we've got the best ball winner in the league right behind us, and he will effectively wipe our arses. And if we look at his heat map from that season at Fulham, you will see how weirdly spread, and that's not an arse joke, by the way, that's just the correct word to use, how evenly spread that is across his own half. I've gone. This is a man, I'm going to get it under control here, this is a man who was not just sitting in front of the back four waiting for something to happen. This is the one who was proactively pushing out to the flanks and pushing up into the opposition half to go and get that ball back for you. It's aggressive defending. Like, I managed to find this old optograph. It's from the February of that season, right after they played Chelsea. So it's maybe like 20, 21, 22 games into the season. And these were all of his defensive contributions, the most in the league by a distance, by the way, that he'd done already. You can see he's winning headers and putting in clearances when it's in his own box. He's protecting his back four. He's shielding that defense. He's stopping teams playing through the middle of the pitch, and on the rare occasions he has needed to do it, either because there's a gap or because they're pressing, he's getting right the way into the opposition third to make a contribution. And honestly, really do take a second to have a proper look at this, because for one player to be contributing this many defensive actions and covering this much of the pitch across a season is honestly, like, that is brilliant. So it begs the question, why did all of this just miraculously turn into a sack of shit as soon as he got to Bayern? Well, I personally think that you are smart enough that if I just show you the difference in his heat maps from Fulham to Bayern, you will immediately figure it out. So when he was a monster truck in West London, it was like this, but then when he looked like a bit of a competition winner in Munich, it looked like this. And can you spot the big problem here? Well, I know obviously, like, you can. You're handsome, you're intelligent, and have you had your hair cut? Yeah, you have. I thought so. It looks really nice. By the way, I know you can do it, but for everybody else, right? The problem is this bit. Bayern's playing style is wildly different to that of Fulham's. Who would have thought it? And your lone number 6 is no longer spending most of his time in this area of the pitch being combative and helping out everybody else. He's now expected to be doing a lot of work on the ball in this half. So you compare his numbers from Fulham to Bayern, and just a heads up, the green bars here will mislead the hell out of you because he's still getting in to like the top percentiles. But look at the actual per 90 numbers. Half as many tackles per game, half as many shots blocked, a third as many interceptions. There is simply no real need for a player like João Palhinha in a team that dominates teams and dominates games and dominates possession as much as Bayern Munich do. So instead, he basically had to become a passer of the ball, a progressor of the ball, which he can do, but it's not his strong suit. And when you compare his numbers for doing those from Fulham to Bayern, then yeah, obviously, they jump right the way up. But look at the ones that will really matter to you if you are Bayern Munich. Assists, expected assists, key passes, passes into the penalty area, a fractional, marginal, barely perceptible improvement between them after he moved between the clubs. I mean, passes into the final third have obviously doubled because that's just where his teammates are now, but everything else that makes any significant difference in the final third, he wasn't doing it. And worse still, the problem now is that when his team lose the ball, the opposition can usually take him out of the game with the very first pass. Like, you go and look at a lot of the goals they conceded when he was on the pitch. This is just against Benfica at the Club World Cup. The guy would have probably gotten a nosebleed this high up at a goal kick when he was at Fulham, and now he just has to be there to back everybody else up. He's not on the halfway line, able to proactively go and engage, and the first ball out on the counter-attack gets past him, and from there, he's just trying to pelt back to help get on the cover. And Palhinha is athletically very impressive. He covers the ground brilliantly, but sprinting 100 yards back, chasing tricky wingers with the ball, no good, no use for him. And so, after a pretty spotty start to Bayern, where quite tellingly, he doesn't start against Leverkusen, Frankfurt, or Freiburg, he gets a bad injury, misses a chunk of the season, and never gets back into the team. And that Benfica clip I just showed you, they hooked him at halftime for Joshua Kimmich, and that will probably be the last time he ever kicks a ball for them. But now, as a clever segue that will neatly tie us back into the end of the video, yes, I'm really good at this, who do you think Thomas Frank's most important player was when he was at Brentford? Because it wasn't Mbuemo, it wasn't Tony, it wasn't Damsgaard, it wasn't, I'm struggling here, Rico Henry, right? It was Christian Norgard. And you look at Norgard's heat map from last season and you see the exact same pattern to João Palhinha at Fulham. Helping to defend in the box, check. Screen in the back four, check. Making the centre of the pitch difficult to play through, check. But also aggressively pushing out into these areas to cover for your teammates and initiate a counter press. Check, check, to check, 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 check. Norgard enabled Brentford to play with freedom in transition, could back up the press on the occasions where they would want to do one, because it wasn't all the time. And, stop me if you've heard this all before, was a really, really good ball winner. And you put those numbers side by side, and again, you've got one of the best in the league for interceptions, for blocking shots, for tackling any little divvies who try and dribble around you. Norgard always allowed Frank to win the ball back really quickly wherever on the pitch that might be. And if we actually look at what Tottenham have already been doing in pre-season, you can see in pretty much every single phase of play, they're keeping everybody really close together. But that is honestly some of the best structured play you're ever likely to see, and it is night and day from the way Ange wanted the entire team to stretch the pitch front to back so that you could move it really quickly through all the different thirds. Like, this is keeping as many players around the ball as you possibly can to give you far more considered options when you've got it, but also to stop you getting carved open when you don't. And in circumstances such as that, having a really aggressive, proactive ball winner in your third, the middle third, and the final third is a huge, huge advantage to have. Like, don't get me wrong, João Palhinha's ball progression is what stops him being in, like, the elite tier for this position. Like, Rodri will still do all the same stuff off the ball, but allow you to move it up the pitch and play around the box really well. Martin Zubimendi's going to be great at that for Arsenal. Sorry, Tottenham fans. Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle, he's really good. João Palhinha doesn't have that, but he is so good at winning the ball, it does give you a few other options. You could have, say, a James Maddison dictate tempo from a lot deeper and then push forward, knowing the space behind him was going to be protected. A Pap Sarr or somebody like that can carry it forward more worry-free. And if you are, say, Mohamed Kudus, you haven't got to spend so much time thinking about the fullback getting into the area behind you, because again, you know someone is aggressively, proactively, and, it's the word I want, goodly, that'll do, going to cover it for you. So yeah, just to word that another way, right, João Palhinha is anywhere from like a 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 out of 10 signing, right? He's not going to blow your socks off, but he does enable you very easily to get more out of all the other players in your side. I really like it. And also, can we just discuss what a really un-Tottenham signing this is? And the guy's 30 years old. He's really experienced in English football. He's on fat wages and a total bastard to play against. Like, you go and get Thomas Frank because you want to sign cheap, develop, and then sell incredibly expensively. But obviously he's gone straight into that club and said, well, yes, we can do that with some of the players we've got now and probably will get in the future. But I do note a distinct lack of arsehole in this team. And for all the good stuff they did play under Ange, they did also get bullied quite easily. And Palhinha fixes that almost immediately. So yeah, there you go. That's certainly killed another day until I've got to bite the bullet and do the Alexander Isak to Liverpool video. But let me know what you made of it all in the comments down below. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tottenham fans, feel like we didn't give you enough love this summer. I was on holiday when you signed Kudus, so I missed that. But don't worry, we'll be looking at you next season and how you play in Thomas Frank's first couple of games. I'm very excited about the possibilities here, so please do feel free to subscribe to us here at ACFC. Don't even feel free, do it as a matter of urgency would be my advice, and you can get me across all the social medias at Adam Clery, Clery. And until next time, this has been the video that you have watched that I made, and that concludes our business for the day. Goodbye. Goodbye. What should my catchphrase be?